Hey guys, how's it going? So I had a viewer ask me a question, and this viewer is also a friend. So Dauntless Defense, this video is for you and hopefully anyone else who's interested. And he said, can you help show me a little bit on how you load an SKS with stripper clips? So I'm going to cut right to the chase, show you guys how I load it. And then if you want to stick around, I'm going to talk about this rifle just a little bit more, as well as the bandolier that would hold the stripper clips. So SKS. This is a Type 56 Chinese. This will apply to almost all SKS. So fire your last shot. The bolt is going to hold open. So here I have a Chinese stripper clip. This is an original military issue. The modern production ones can be okay, guys, but I found the original military issue ones to actually work the best. So we're going to grab our stripper clip. We're going to notice that in the bolt carrier here, right next to your charging handle, there's a stripper clip guide. That's to help guide your stripper clip into the internally fed box 10 round magazine, right? So we're just gonna literally just let gravity do its job, set it in there, push it down, okay? Now, there's a couple ways people do this. You could use your right hand or your left hand. I like to use my right hand. And basically I'm gonna use my thumb. And you could try to just shove it down in one swoop, but I find usually it binds a little bit. So what I'm going to do is kind of do it in a couple different stages. I'm going to kind of, give it a little chick, 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 if you will. So I'm going to start off just by putting my thumb on the top round. Let me see if I can get this on camera a little better for you guys. And I'm going to give it a little push. It's going to load most of the rounds, and I'm going to feel a bind. And then I'm just going to kind of just let the pressure up a little bit. You saw them jiggle up. I'm just going to kind of push down a little more. That got the last few in, and then usually by the third time they all go right in there. Now we have our stripper clip that's still sitting here. We're just going to pull this out. We would pull the charging handle to the rear, and it's going to chamber the next round. So there we go. We have 10 rounds loaded. We can do it much quicker than this. I'm just showing you in slow motion how I do it. Now if you want to release the rounds, you don't want to chamber around, whatever reason, you're not going to fire the rifle. You're just going to pull back on this latch with your hand underneath. The magazine body is just going to swing away. Get your hand right there, and they're all just going to spill out. And I was able to retain all 10 rounds that I will then reload on the stripper clip. So let me grab one more from my chest rig bandolier here. I've got one more loaded up, and I'm going to do it just a little bit quicker. Same principle as before. I'm just going to do it a little bit quicker because normally I would load it much faster than what I just showed you. And I'm sure you guys are faster than me, but whatever. So make sure that you put that magazine body back in place here. If not, they're going to fall on the ground. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? So there we go. We're retained again. So we're going to put it in the guide here, right in the handle. And I'm just going to give it a shove, another little shove, and then I'm going to finish putting them in there. That still wasn't that fast because I was trying to get the camera angle right, but you guys get the point, right? So I can just release the bolt handle back. It's going to chamber the last round. The rifle is hot. Safety's on. I'm going to release the rounds by pulling the old trap door. The rounds shot down in my hand just like that. And we still have a round in the chamber, so I'm going to pull back on the charging handle. And there we go. Bolt held open on the last round. So hopefully that helps somebody. Now, stripper clips. While I load these up, I'm going to tell you guys my philosophy. A lot of people want to add an external mag, like the duckbill style that are available, and the drums and all that to their SKS. As I always say on the channel, do whatever you want, guys. It's your money, it's your gun. Me? I think the most reliable way, and this is from a lot of experience, those of you that have been on the channel know this already, but my first firearm I ever purchased back in the early 90s was an SKS, so that's what got me started into firearms, quite frankly. I've shot a lot of SKSs, I've been around them a long time, and I think the most reliable way to feed rounds into your SKS is with the built-in internal 10 round magazine. Now that's not to say that some people don't have good luck with their You know, Duckbill, they're Tapco, there's many different brands, right? But me, I found that generally they feed best from the stock magazine that they were kind of intended to be fired from. I hate to break it to you guys. If you want a high capacity 7.62x39 com block weapon, maybe look into the AK. The SKS is not the AK though. It was always fired in semi-auto, issued as such. It wasn't intended to fire in such high rates or succession of fire, right? And it's not whether the AK or the SKS are better, they're actually just different firearms. So you can decide which one's better, but there's certainly things the SKS is better at and certain things the AK is better at. And which one do I like to shoot more? The answer is actually both. There's certain things I like better about shooting my SKS, no doubt. But there's also some more fun things you can do with an AK, right? So I'm not going to do a what's better or versus because I like them both. But I do like to actually shoot my SKS with a internal mag. So that's to answer that question I've got from a lot of people. But one more time, you want to use an aftermarket mag? Go for it. I don't think they're as reliable, and I have many years, many different SKS rifles and magazines that in my opinion, I've proven this to be the more reliable method, right? Okay, 10. It's hard to count and talk at the same time, guys. So, now, if you don't have stripper clips, you can of course just feed the rounds right in there, one at a time on top of each other. This is how many people are going to feed their rifles, right? And that works just fine too. Now, these stripper clips. These have a 211 code on them. These are original military surplus. I've had better luck with them. There's some current production ones that are okay, but I found sometimes they're a little out of spec, and you have to kind of do a little filing on these little nubs that stick out. Your results may vary, but generally the Milsurp ones are going to cost you a little more. They're still usually available on eBay and other places, but I like genuine military as far as my stripper clips go. So let me get this one loaded up. I'm going to show you guys the chest rig real quick. I'm going to tell you just a teeny bit about this rifle, and then you guys can go on and tune into your favorite fake news show or whatever you guys watch. I'm joking. Alright, so there we go. This is an original Chinese military surplus. This is new old stock, unissued, but it is an original Chinese. And we're going to take a quick look here at the markings on the back, which are going to be mainly in Chinese writing, with a couple things written that we can understand. So a bunch of Chinese. We're going to see 7.62. We're going to see a 3.537 and then a 79. So this was made in 1979. Chinese made tons of these. I mean, millions. Wouldn't even be enough, right, to tell you how many of these they made. This is a canvas type construction. It features 9 stripper clip compartments, each of which are going to hold 2 stripper clips. And I'll show you how this works. This is your bandolier chest rig that was used in military service by many countries. So we're just going to go ahead and stick a fully loaded rack of stripper clips in here. Once this has been used and broken in, it's much easier. This is kind of flat from just being in storage, quite frankly, being an unissued unit. The other one, see the clips on this side? You're going to do it in an opposing fashion, right? So they'll both fit in here. Again, it's always easier when you're not on camera and when your pouch is broken in. But you see how I did that. Just one in front of the other. The clips are on the opposite sides. So it fits 2 in here. Perfect. We're going to come down with this little loop. And it's just literally a matter of taking this little wood dowel, if you will, or button or whatever. And that keeps it in place. Just a little wood keeper tied on. Real simple. Now, you're going to notice there's 10 pockets in here. 9 of them are for stripper clips. So 20 in a pocket times 9. You've got a 180 round loadout, with the last one being reserved for your oil bottle. Now the other pouches, all 9 of them are just going to be canvas here. Canvas lined, except for your oil pouch, because there's oil in there that could potentially leak. It has a rubberized coating on the inside of both the flap as well as the internal portion of the pocket there. So we have a final rubberized pocket, and this would be your oil bottle that was issued and just fits right in there. Now you could put stripper clips in this one if you wanted to and have a loadout of 200 rounds, but that just wasn't their manual of arms. One oil bottle, 180 rounds. Now this rig goes on pretty darn easy, really. You've got two straps. It's going to form like a cross pattern, if you will, like an X across your chest. So I'll put this one over my left shoulder, this one over my right shoulder, right? And then there's a little, just a string here on each side, on the left side and on the right side. And you would just put these both around your back, tie them off in a knot, and there you go. That's your military loadout. 180 rounds of 7.62 by 39 on tap and a stripper clip. Your oil bottle, of course, your cleaning kit will be right here in the buttstock, so you've got that on you, and you're ready to go. And there it is. So cleaning kit's in the buttstock. You've got your cleaning rod that is housed here under the barrel, between the barrel and bayonet. So cleaning rod, cleaning kit, oil, ammunition, and this is actually nice. Like, as much as we like detachable box-fed mags, this is actually a lighter loadout. You can carry more rounds of ammo with less pounds of weight on you because you don't have the additional bulk and weight of the magazines. So that's actually kind of cool. This is a very lightweight, minimalistic type rig here. As soon as you're out of ammo, this folds up very small. It can be put in your pack until you're able to resupply at the depot or whatever later, right? So these are still available. eBay's a good place for these. I think even Amazon. I'm gonna say 15 to 20 bucks. They used to be $5 a piece back in the day, but like anything, Milsurp, back in the day compared to today, yeah, everything goes up. But still, I really think you guys can find these in unissued condition like this for 15, maybe 20 bucks tops. So I like this. It's a really nice little rig and setup. I like feeding from the stripper clips. So that's the deal. Now, this rifle. I have a bunch of SKSs. This is just one that I decided to bring out here. This is a very early Type 56 Chinese. This is one that could be called a Sino-Soviet, meaning it's actually the very early production. Now there's different levels of Sino-Soviets, and I do have a couple that are even earlier than this. But, see if my camera will zoom in on this. We're going to see a 6-digit serial number with a factory 26, but no Chinese markings. So, basically with the factory 26, you can take the millionths place and add it to 1956, and that's your year. Well, there is no millionths place. This has a 6-digit serial number. So this was made 244,000. This was made probably in the first quarter of 1956. And that's when these were officially gone into production with help from the Russians and the tooling. I did do a video, if you go back in my playlist, my SKS playlist, and you'll see I talked about the letter series, Russian, which was the very last Russians that then became the very first Chinese. This is right during that early transition. So we have a gun with all the early features on it. This one still features, it's very faint, but an original serialized stock that matches the rest of the rifle. Everything on here is matching. It has honest wear and tear, but it is a complete rifle. Early features, I'm going to miss a few, but I'll just highlight the most important ones. Sling swivel is going to be on the bottom, where later they would move it to the side of the stock. Your trigger guard and trigger group is milled, where it would later become stamped on the bottom, right? We have the Chinese wood stock that has the profile of the older one. It's a little bit thicker here than it is on some of the newer ones. This has the blade bayonet, Russian style, whereas in about 1965, they switched over to the classic spike bayonet. So this has the early bayonet. Little things like the profile of the rear sight base is different on these very early ones. They still have, it looks like an upside down U, but it's a Cyrillic letter, where they changed over to something that looks like the letter D as time went on, right? So this is going to basically have all the early features of a Chinese. Now there's small stuff down to like how many serrations are on the safety lever and you know, the type of knurling on the charging handle. So you can get down to the nitpicky stuff, but that's some of the key highlights that's going to make this a early. The milled trigger group or trigger guard area, the position of the sling, the blade bayonet, and just the fact that this has a serial number of only 244,000, right? So there you go. Chinese SKS. And here's the thing, real quick. I said this is how you're going to load most of them with stripper clips. Through the stripper clip guide, through the top, right? Well, there were a couple exceptions. And this would be the rather rare on the scope of things. I don't want to say rare, but very uncommon compared to the traditional style. This is a SKS Sporter. This was brought in the United States in 1993, before the 1994 ban that banned the importation of any Chinese rifle, right? Ammo, etc. And this one does actually take external mags, and it takes AK mags. Now, this is not a military rifle. It was made for import to the U.S. But this one lacks the stripper clip guide because it never was manufactured with an internal swing-away magazine. So there's no guide here because this is not intended to be loaded with stripper clips. So here is a original, surplus, new old stock, Type 56 AK mag. The same thing you put in your AK, your Chinese Kalashnikov, right? And it's just going to go into the mag well here. A little rock and lock. When you're not on camera, it's super easy. There we go. So, what's interesting is, I could take this out, guys, but I'll just let you laugh at me. Again, I'm on camera, but these actually don't go in as bad as it looked. However, when you bought these, they actually would slightly fit the lugs on the front of the mag to each individual rifle. This is not the one that came with this. It came with a little dinky 5-round mag that goes right in. This was just a 30-round that I grabbed from one of my pre-ban, Norinkos. So, there you go. But yeah, it no longer has the bolt hole open because we are now using an AK mag. So, yes, there are exceptions that were intended to fire from AK mags, but your main infantry standard issue type SKSs were never intended to use the external mag. If you want to, cool, go for it, but I'm a fan of using the stripper clip or just loading the rounds if I need to through the top. And you're going to notice the profile is a little bit different on the bolt carrier, and that's one more feature that I almost forgot about. This early Type 56 Milsurp does have the early lightning cut in the bolt carrier. And here's an example of one that was made in the 60s. 1966 here. And you're going to see some of these features have changed a little bit. Slightly different lightning cut. A little bit different profile on the rear sight base. This one, the sling was moved over to this side at a certain point. And now, being in 1966, we have the classic, I guess you could say famous for Chinese, right? Spike bayonet. So, things changed a little bit as these rifles evolved, but yeah, either way, this still has the stripper clip guide right here in the charging handle and would still be loaded the same as that early Type 56 that I just showed you. Alright, I love the SKS. If you guys are wanting more SKS videos, let me know. And I know you guys think I'm pulling your leg here, but I recently, as in a month and a half ago, just before all this crap happened, I bought a $150 SKS from one of the famous online gun shops. So if you guys want to see that, I'll show it to you. And I'm not lying. In the year 2020, I did buy a $150 SKS from Classic Firearms. So I'll show you that. You guys may have seen them. They were selling them as broken stock, missing stock, and I've got that over there. If someone's interested, I can show you what I have in mind for that project. Alright guys, I ended up blabbering a little long, but I think I got to the point right away for those of you that just wanted to see me load the stripper clips. But the rest of you, I thought might just want to hang out with me for a little bit. So thanks for the question, Dauntless Defense. You're a great viewer, someone I consider a friend, and most of you guys are great viewers and also people I consider my friends. So I always appreciate the comments. As you guys know, I respond to as many of them as I can. And if I gave you a heart, it means I read it. I don't give you a heart unless I read it. So I'm reading 99% of the comments and responding to at least 3/4 of them. And that's just because I like hanging out with you all. So SKS buttstock cleaning kit. These are pretty cool. Alright, if I keep talking SKS, I'll be here all night. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching and have a good one.